Good morning, traders. This is Perry with USStartupTrading.com. It is 9 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on CPI Wednesday, March 12th. So that is the major news for the day. I had a fat finger on my sheet here. The Bank of Canada will be at 9:45 with a press conference at 10:30. Uh, we're going to have a 10-year bond auction result at 101, and then the federal budget balance, which no one's paying attention to that, at 2 p.m. Uh, and then we are still in oversold conditions, right? So this is the time that you got to be careful because counter trend rallies can be vicious at this point in time. Nothing really doing for stocks as far as I'm concerned the next few days. Tomorrow we're going to have PPI and unemployment claims, and then Friday we're going to have University of Michigan. So looking back at yesterday's action, the Qs basically traded between 466 and 479, a 13-point range. The SPY basically traded between 552 up to 563. Uh, so that was the range for it. The SPX, the cash market, basically traded between 55.25 and 56.25. Looking at structure, really nothing happened with structure yesterday. No anomalies yesterday. We did maintain that split at 54.46, right? That's a split in the auction that basically goes down to these single prints and up to this dash line, this dotted line. We'll see. We're going to be opening above that or right around there today. So see if we can start playing in the other auction that runs between 56.45 basically and 57.25. And then we got some single prints up there for the NQ and the Dow. See if anything happens. Keep in mind that well, we'll get into one time framing here in a minute. But basically, for the week now and for today, unless things get out of hand, right? 5,500 is your floor, 5,700 is your ceiling, right? We closed yesterday on the cash market at 55.72. We're up 62 points right now, so we'd be around 56.30 at this point in time. So we could go up another 70 handles from here, 65, let's call it, handles from here to hit that 5,700. I would expect that to be first test resistance. And if you were able, for whatever reason, if that's the direction of the market this morning, and you were able to write it up near 5,700, you should just be done for the day because it's probably going to get sloppy and choppy after that. Uh, and then really, you got a little bit at 5,600 that could be a stumbling block, but uh, we'll see what happens with that. Looking at the SPY, and then the SPY closed yesterday at 556. We're trading 562.77 right now. So we are after closing below this little nub here at 558, and you can see for today maybe that's going to be a pivot point. But we are up above this 560. Uh, I don't know. We'll have to see, but I would guess that really 545 is not in play for today, and potentially 570 is. Uh, Looking at the Qs, we closed yesterday on the Qs at 471.60. We're currently trading 479.66, so just under 480. You can see for the week there's a lot of gamma on 480. So that's probably going to be first test resistance. Maybe that's where the overnight high is going to peak out near there, going into the bell. Getting over 480, right? For today, you got 482, 483, and 485. And you can see that for the week, the largest gamma for the Qs is sitting on 490. So that would be basically a little over 400 points higher than we're currently trading. So you might want to mark that off. Well, I'll be sitting on the 8 grid as well. but you'll definitely want to pay attention to this 485 and 490, and especially 490. Again, if for some reason we get up there, that's where you should be calling it a day, because it's going to get sloppy and choppy after that, I'm sure. Um, Looking at the where we are for untested points of control over here. Uh, Yesterday's point of control is 5,600. Uh, we are currently trading 56.43. So if you're bullish, what you would like to see is any retracement does not touch 5,600. It's about time, as you can see, coming from the all-time high here and sweeping back lower. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh, Untested points of control above us, and yesterday's slightly below us. So it's time to start reversing this pattern and go up here and at least whack these bottom two off the board here at 57.75 and 58.51. Those two should come off the board before we see a retracement. That's going to be right around this 21.4. So I really, and this is the pop I was looking for yesterday to start to begin, and maybe it just be gone later in the day. But I expect us to range and chop between 55.80 and 58.38 for a number of sessions. Looking at one time framing, we have been on an impulse move down. We have taken out a previous day's high, but only during the session, and then in the same session took out the low following. So we've never really ended one time framing down since we hit this high. We're likely to get above yesterday's high at the open. If we were at open right now, yesterday's high uh, was 19,687 basically. We're currently trading 19,708. So we would be above that if we opened here. Of course, we can get another engulfing candle down. I just think as oversold as we are, we're probably going to start heading towards 20,250. Whether that's today, tomorrow, the next day, we'll see. But I think heading into FOMC next Wednesday, we're probably going to get some type of retracement. Remember, the VIX expires next Tuesday. It's a weird expiration because the following month we have the Friday off for Good Friday on April 18th. So that's why the VIX is expiring on Tuesday of next week instead. Uh, and then looking at the ES, the high for it yesterday was 56.44 basically. We're trading right at it right now, right at yesterday's high. Uh, so obviously there's going to be some unhappy traders. And the first test that you really want to see, if you're looking at basically fair value gaps on the daily candles, there will be one between the low of Friday. So Friday's low, I would think, is a level that you're going to watch. You could just mark that off. Getting back up into Friday's range, you can see there's a pretty good window, even all the way up to 57.22. That's going to be probably right around that 5700 level. I think, well, actually, I think 5706 is going to be right around where that SPX cash level is now. So 5706, so it'd be right around in here. Uh, so that's where you should be done for the day, right around 57. I'd say 5700 to be honest with you, on the even on the futures. So overnight action, 100 points, and you can see we're screwing around right at yesterday's high after being above it in the overnight session, uh, and then looking at all the indexes, they've all traded in the overnight session above yesterday's high. So the key will be, do we trade above yesterday's high between the bells, and can we start making some can we start off with a little short squeeze heading up into those positioning resistance zones today? Or do we just kind of fall back down into the 80% rule? Remember, this was the major news for the week this morning. It's out. We do have PPI tomorrow, but it's less important, and University of Michigan on Friday, and that's about it. Uh, So we'll go from there. We'll see what Jack's looking at, but I expect pullbacks to be viable today. If you look at Jack's day frame indicator, I would expect us not to make any traction whatsoever below the true midpoint, the blue line on his indicator. Uh, and a lot of the session will be above there for sure. If it all comes in, and you should expect, potentially not to have a gap fill today, right? These purple lines on there that would be back to unchanged. If we do see a gap fill, I would expect value area low to hold today. And for whatever reason, if you're in short sequences, I would stop at value area low. I would not look for a penny below there today. If it happens, it happens, but I don't think it's a smart play. I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see what Jack's looking at, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.